Shalom and good day all, this is Tehillim29 back again for another Indie and Marvel review, and in these Indie and Marvel reviews I'm covering Assassin's Apprentice Volume 3 Issue 6 and the Marvel Swimsuit Special Issue 1. I'll now get things ready and organised for the first one that I'll be reviewing. So, moving into first things first, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? In some essence it sort of does, to which I give it a 6 out of 10. Next is the area of the internal art around the beginning, middle and of course the end, and also what's happening story-wise with the characters. So as the story begins, we catch up with Verity, who's also known as Fitz in this comic, as well as him catching up with some furry friends, namely a dog that he sort of like helped rescued earlier in the series. And of course we have how his abilities are playing in effect once again. As we start to move towards the middle of the story, he is of course encountering someone, I think it's Regal. If it's one thing that I could sort of say about this story, I think its beginning was meh, alright. The middle, which was like the last volume, was meh, okay. And this moving into this latest volume is okay. I think I'll just pass and just wait for this thing to go full omnibus so I can find out what's properly happening with this story. And last but not least, towards the end, to which we get a bit of a record of things that have been occurring with this character. For the internal art, I gave it a 6 out of 10, as this story is actually starting to lose me quite a lot now. Next is the area of the story, to which the ratings are set by time, location, and cast, and the overall rating comes out from that. So the first things first is, do we get anything time-wise? No. Location? No. Cast of characters: Fitz or Verity, Regal, Burrick, and that's about all that I was able to manage to get from this particular issue, because of how not so well it didn't come across. For the overall rating, I give it a 6 out of 10. Now it's time to move into the Swimsuit Special. So as we start to move into the Swimsuit Special, does this cover, which is a wraparound cover, connect to anything that's happening inside with the story? In some essence it does, to which it gets a 7 out of 10. I'm actually surprised that this actually got the rating it did for not only the cover, the art, but also the story. I was expecting the last thing that I covered before would actually get a slightly higher rating. Next is the area of the internal art around the beginning, middle, and of course the end, and also what's happening story-wise with the characters. So as the story begins, in this Swimsuit Special, we get to see a number of things that are happening around the Marvel Universe, including around Manhattan. We get to meet up with some Avengers characters, plus other characters. As we start to jump towards the middle, we of course get a bit of a punch-on that happens with one of the villains. Of course, we do get these small posters included amongst the pages. Definitely like the look of Psylocke here, though I think it could have had a little bit more added to it. So, for the internal art, I gave it a 7 out of 10. Next is the area of the story. First things first, do we get anything time-wise? Yes, we have less than a minute later. Crazy how it was set up. Next is the locations, to which we had Manhattan, Louisiana. We had the Savage Land and Coney Island. Last but not least, we had the cast of characters consisting of, well, members of the X-Men, as well as the Avengers, She-Hulk, plus a number of many others. For the overall rating, I give it a 7 out of 10. Until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.